Alrighty, folks, we are very lucky to have Nick on the show. Again, he's been on the show several times. He is the Bitcoin guy. But I don't know about the conversation. It might be our last one because Bitcoin lost. Gold won. Bitcoin's over. We heard that Bitcoin was going to be an inflation hedge. That didn't happen. We heard that people were going to run to Bitcoin when the dollar collapsed. That didn't happen. It seems like Bitcoin's fallen off the table. Gold's winning. Gold's almost 5,000. Silver's 100. And Bitcoin's going backwards. So, Nick, is it over? Is it time to give up on Bitcoin?
Absolutely not. Let me tell you one thing about myself. I'm a basketball coach for 20 years, multiple players, and you never lose a game in the first quarter or the second quarter. You wait till the game is over before it's finished. And I can promise you Bitcoin's not over. Bitcoin's not dead. And what we're in is an uncertain time, man. We got market volatility like crazy. We got a president that's up, down, and in between. A classic New Yorker, you might say. I mean, my family's from New York. They're the happiest guys and the angriest guys, all in the same day, man. I'll tell you. So I don't think it's over, Mike. I'll tell you a couple reasons why, though.
Well, let me ask you this. Hold on. I want to get to the reasons why.
Okay.
But I want to challenge.
Sure.
What all the Bitcoin maxis have been screaming for years. And it's not proving to be true. And anytime that happens, you can either A, just keep screaming and like you're not listening, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, did I get it wrong? And I don't hear enough Bitcoin people going, I might be wrong. They just keep screaming. And the biggest one for me, we've just realized is, and again, Peter Schiff. I mean, Peter Schiff looks like a genius if you focus on the last year. He looks like an idiot if you focus on 30 years. But again, you got to give the guy his flowers. Gold has been screaming and Bitcoin's going backwards. When the dollar was getting, when fiat is supposed to be exploding and the dollar is collapsing, Bitcoin was supposed to be the answer. How many times did I see the meme that say Bitcoin answers that or Bitcoin fixes that? This is crap. You guys are wrong. And I don't hear any self-assessments. What's going on?
Well, I mean, a broken clock's right twice a day. So I don't care what Peter Schiff says or the doomers. Eventually, you're going to be wrong in the moment. And people are right that 2025 was a bad year for Bitcoin and for crypto in general. That's a fact. Now, Baxies might not want to say that. They're to the moon forever. But I've been on this show and I've said it and I didn't get it wrong. Things have to happen. There needs to be global adoption. There needs to be full acceptance. And a lot of people didn't price in the Sell America trade. We see that China sold over 200,000 Bitcoins. Well, that's a huge supply back on the market just from them alone.
I did not hear that. I didn't hear that. So China, the country, sold 200,000 coins. That's heavy. That's a lot.
Yeah, they've been selling their Bitcoins and they're buying gold and silver, man. We see what's going on with those shiny metals.
They're definitely buying gold. They are, gold, dude. Gold is now it has the maximum or largest reserves. It's not even the dollar anymore. The dollar is toast. Gold is number one now. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, but it makes sense. I mean, it's hitting record highs because it's safe haven, right? It's been around forever. And if you're trying to get away from America, like China or these BRICS nations, you're going to buy silver and gold because that's something you could actually have control of. You own so many mineral rights in Africa and other places as well. So you're going to move off of America and your 100-year plan. They don't have a 4-year president. They have a 100-year plan, right? True. I'm a history teacher. I know exactly what's going on around the world in terms of that. I don't know a lot of things, but I know basketball and I know a little bit about history. And that's happening right now. They're moving off of that and they're smart. Okay. I would have moved off of it a long time ago. I'm surprised they let us control the world for so long.
Nice. So again, as you and I've talked, I put 1% of my net worth in Bitcoin in 2018. It's been doing fine, right? When you zoom out to 2018, it's doing fine. Yeah. But again, as somebody who has not bought in a single crypto since I did this 1% move, I guess what I'll ask you is this the time to maybe double up? Because again, in a moment of weakness, maybe it's time to move in a little heavy, or are you one of the guys who go, you know what, there's still too much crap going on. The underlying token is not acting like I think it should. So maybe it's step back and wait for things to solve themselves. What are you telling people?
Well, investors are fleeing risky assets like Bitcoin right now to go to those traditional safe markets. And I think even as a housing expert as yourself, 2009, there was fear out there. Sentiment was, no one wanted to buy a house, but that was the best time to buy. So right now, Bitcoin is on sale. I don't have a crystal ball, but if you were to say, hey, are we going to ever get to market highs again, all-time highs? Let's just call it 126, all-time high. Well, if you buy at 88,000 and it goes to 126, that was a hell of a trade for 2026. And I believe
that's 50%.
Yeah, 50% is a huge trade. So I think that we are going to still grow. I think as long as there is no crypto bill in terms of the wash trade rules and regulations, there's going to be fear out there. I mean, people lost their butts on October 10th when they dipped the market and grabbed everyone's leverage. And a lot of those people that they took leverage from were FOMO, all-in retail traders, you know what I mean, that love Bitcoin. So those people are afraid. And I think you should be afraid personally until there is crypto legislation and they get rid of the wash trade rule.
So talk about that. So I don't know anything about that. Again, I heard about a crypto bill that didn't move forward. Is this the wash rule that they were talking about?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There's banks are fighting with, people like Coinbase, right? Brian Armstrong.
Right. I heard that.
Yeah. And they don't want their money to leave their banks because they're lending, right, all their money for saving and go into all these Coinbase tokenized assets because the internet's faster on crypto. They're moving stocks to crypto. The world is changing slowly but surely, right? People used to use fax machines. They don't use those anymore. They used to use beepers. They don't use those anymore. They used to use pigeons, carrier pigeons, and send those. They don't do that anymore either. So they're fighting because they don't want you to get yield on your cryptocurrency, get yield on your Bitcoin. So TradFi and DeFi are going at it. And I actually think what Brian Armstrong did was great. He's standing up for Bitcoin and tokenization.
Now, what was the reason he stood up? I know nothing. All I heard is I saw a headline that he stood up and the bill didn't go anywhere. What was his anchor? What did he stand on?
A lot of it, one, is privacy. They're trying to get rid of all the privacy out of it because they want control, right? Isn't that what it's all about? They want control of your keys. Probably. They want control of your Bitcoin. They want control of anything they want to take control of. The next is yield. Tokenization and Coinbase, and they have yield on their rewards and things through Bitcoin and crypto. They don't want that. They want you keeping your money in the bank, giving you 0.03% for your whole year, right? And now they're going to move. Why am I going to go there when I could get rewards in Bitcoin and getting priced in sats instead of fiat? So there's a big problem there when it comes to privacy, when it comes to yield, and when it comes to the number one thing in the world, really, which is money. And they're going to be fighting like cats and dogs.
So it sounds like, the fight is still going on. It seems like. And I want to tie it back to something I think I heard you say, but I'm not sure. Do you think that the, mom and pop investor, we're not talking about a maxi here, just a mom and pop investor. Do you think we should just wait until that gets resolved to figure out what the rules of the road are? Or do you think it's wise to kind of move in before that and just, wait for a result? What do you think?
It depends on your horizon. If you're a 10-year holder, then yeah, you could buy in right now. You're probably going to get a great price and you don't care if it goes down a little bit, just like having a great house. Sure, 2022, the housing market's been flat for 2 years or down even. I sold $2 million worth of real estate in 2022 and bought Bitcoin. And right now I still couldn't get the amount I sold those houses for in 2022. Doesn't mean that it was bad to hold real estate during that time. It just, you go long-term and you're a long-term holder. Now, if you're short-term, there's a lot of uncertainty. We have a government shutdown possibly happening again, which is crazy. We already know what's going to happen, cause and effects if that happens again. We have uncertainty with perp trading, being the casino with the cryptocurrency bills. If they're getting passed, we know that Donald Trump, who's a controversial person, is a big Bitcoin person, right? And they're going to be fighting with that. The world is going to be fighting and trying to get us off stable coins. And if you know anything about Donald Trump and his controversy, whether you like him or not, I don't care what you vote for. That doesn't bother me. You're allowed to your own opinion. But the world has their own opinions too. And those leaders of countries, some of them love them and some of them hate them. And they're all making moves in that same derangement syndrome, as some might say, in terms of how they impact. So they're trying to move off control. You see what happened with Maduro in Venezuela. You see what's happening against tariffs in countries like Canada. There's another 100% tariff. Well, as long as those things keep getting thrown out there, market uncertainty, and in a risk asset like Bitcoin has only been around for 15 years, people are going to be nervous in the short term. Long term, I'm buying. I feel great about it. And that's why it's called the daily hodl, because we're hodling for a long time here.
Yeah. And hodling is hold. What does this stand for?
Well, technically it was a drunk email that was supposed to just say hold and it spelled hodl, but now they call it hold on for dear life. Yeah.
Hold on for dear life. That was the DL. Yeah, the hold on for dear life. Yeah. So again, it's really interesting to me again, as somebody who occasionally creates content around Bitcoin. I'm not a maxi. I'm just a guy who has 1% of his net worth in there. It is remarkable to me that it was supposed to be an inflation hedge. Didn't happen. It was supposed to be the asset piece people raced to when fiat fell and the dollar has. Yeah. And I just don't hear people being honest about what's going on. And that really detracts from the story, right? Because again, why was Bitcoin screaming higher, in my opinion, for 10 years? It was because it was supposed to help replace fiat if fiat fell apart, and it was supposed to be an inflation hedge. I got to tell you, at this moment, it's nothing but a NASDAQ stock that trades 24/7. That's all Bitcoin is to me. It's just something that trades 24/7.
I think it's even worse than that, to be honest with you, if I'm going to be completely honest. I've always liked your swing and a miss shirts. Sometimes you're wrong. And I don't mind being honest about Bitcoin because I have people that are interested in investing and I want to always be honest with them. I mean, I posted once, I sold my trading stack, 1.3 million, just the trading, not the hodl stack, because I saw that it was going to go down. I can read the charts. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to just hold something because, but with, I just think that long-term, everything's going to be okay. I think it's okay for things to go down and up. That's part of investing. It's never going to be symmetrically up. If there was a banana zone tomorrow, I would sell my Bitcoin. I know people tell you, because things retrace. So I understand that. I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't panic. I think we're in for a long haul. And what's going on, and this is what I'm getting back from the NASDAQ, you literally have these big conglomerates that own tremendous amounts of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And because there's no wash trade rule where they have to wait 30 days to buy back in, they are selling highs and buying lows in fear and just keep getting more money and more leverage and more coins and more control. So it's completely different than anything normal people are used to investing because there's no regulation there.
Yeah. And the other thing that back to, I think you said it was October 10th. Again, one of the things that always makes me scratch my head is just how much leverage there is in this space. And the fact that you could be taken out at Sunday at 2 a.m. because it's a thinly traded environment. And that is just like, guys, what are you doing? It just drives me crazy.
Oh, the weekends at 3 a.m. in the morning Pacific time is really when they grab the leverage. If you have a Bitcoin liquidation heat map, you'll see what's called these yellow lines on different time frames. And that's like the 50x, the 75, the 100x leverage. And they're getting those while everyone's sleeping. They grab them. They get tons of money. They move their coins to other coins and they get more money and more coins. And people keep doing it. I think they're insane.
It's crazy. Thank you for saying that out loud. I'm glad somebody who's Bitcoin said that's insane. Because it is insane. It's just, it's like you guys haven't learned. This is like, how many times you got to play this game before you figure out you're just being run over by the big money. It's crazy.
Hey, well, something that lives in Vegas, people are gamblers, man. They want to gamble. That's what's happening.
Addicted. Amen. So let me close on this because again, as I opened this session, with Bitcoin is dead. What I hear you saying is, 2025 wasn't great, which I think is fair. Certainly not in comparison to gold or silver. Bitcoin was horrible in that comparison. Only a one-year comparison. I get it. But again, it is what it is. What I hear you also saying is it's not, if you're just a casual investor, maybe the water's too choppy at the moment. But I also hear you saying, and this is where I want you to come in, is 2026, sometime, call it the summer, the fall maybe, you think the rules of the road will come together and it'll be more smooth sailing ahead once this regulation's done? Is that fair, or am I putting words in your mouth?
No, you're 100% fair. I think 2025 sucked for Bitcoin and crypto. And if you do, I don't like crypto, but I do love Bitcoin. Yeah, you got your teeth kicked in, right? If you did in 2025, that's the honest truth. And I think that you're going to continue to have major volatility as long as those crypto bills don't get passed. Once they do get passed, I feel so much more comfortable. Now, this isn't financial advice, but for the casual investor to get in, because now you have regulations to keep you safe, because that's really what it's about. The problem is sometimes there's over-regulation, and that's what they're fighting about. They're fighting about privacy, control, and things of that nature, right? And those are all being fought in Congress, and Congress is slow, especially when you have things like government shutdowns that push everything back, and they're fighting, and they're doing that on purpose because they know that, and that's okay. Both parties do the same thing, but basically, the longer these shutdowns go and continue to push back, they can't pass these bills. They can't focus on legislation, and they're trying to get to the midterms and see if there's going to be a change in the House or the Senate. And we don't know about the presidency till a couple more years after that. But they're waiting. They're pushing. They're playing the long game. And that's politics. And politics is gross, but that's the truth.
Yeah, there. I couldn't have said that any better. Well, do me a favor. Again, this is definitely not my area of expertise. It is yours. If somebody wanted to follow you and really get an update daily on this stuff, where do they go?
Yeah, every single day I do a daily huddle where I talk about Bitcoin news and what's going on, and sometimes politics, because politics play a role into what's going on in terms of the markets. So I know people don't like that, and I don't care what your position, but follow me on Lead Pray Hodl on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, and I'm trying to grow a channel of truth seeking, right? I'm giving you the facts. I don't like to say them. I wish Bitcoin was to the moon already again today, but I'm going to tell you the truth, hopefully to protect you, but also because that's what every viewer deserves, honesty and truth.
One more time, what's the channel name?
Lead Pray Hodl.
Lead Pray Hodl, HODL. You're amazing, man. Thank you for coming on. All the best.
Thank you.